All right, we're back, and it's time to wrap this show up. And we're doing two very quick segments. My producers quarrel with me every single time because this segment takes us over time. This is the Carnival Chat, where we discuss some topical issues in the carnival. I have two carnival connoisseurs with me today. Closest to me is, we have another fashion designer in the house of Hunamic Design, Rhian and Ramkisoon. Has been on the show showcasing his stuff. You're doing Monday wear this year?
Yes, men's Monday wear.
Men's Monday wear. Sold out? Can I get a pants?
Just we can get something.
We can get something.
Yeah, we can get something. Yeah.
Rhian Ramkisoon. Outside of being a fashion designer, he is a fetter. He is a carnival man, and all right to sit in this chair and weigh in on his views. Next to him, you know him, you love him. I-95.5's finest Sterling.
This feels like a reunion of sorts.
Yeah, it's a line.
Yeah, I know, right?
We were all at I-95.5 at some point in time in our careers.
At the same time.
At the same time, we were all at I-95. That's right. Guys, my first little discussion has to do with the national instrument. Pan's place in the carnival. I just sensed over the last few weeks that there's something happening. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's happening at all, but I sense something. A couple of weeks ago, I think Rhian and I, so you're not a big fetter like Rhian and I, but Rhian and I would have been at Iron Park at Soca's weekend event, Arts and Music Festival, big weekend, and I think you still have on the band for some reason.
Because
you just keeping all. It was that good.
No, it was that good. It was that good. I need to have the memory with me.
So let me say congratulations to that
Wow events
and the entire committee that I would have put that on. So in a nutshell, I saw a group of youngish people partying to the national instrument. There were 3 large bands on 3 stages. All Stars, Renegades, and Desperados, occupying 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stages. And the party pumping. I reached late. We were taping Copper Joe at Movie Town, and I walk in the party late, and I talk as I walk in the party.
According to the young people, it was lit.
The party was lit.
Right.
And what made the party so amazingly lit is that when I looked up on the stage, it wasn't Marsha Montano or Bunchy Garland. It was Desperados, All Stars, and Renegades pumping the party. Rhian could tell you that it was a sort of movement between the DJ, the pan.
A wave of interpolation, the DJ in and out, the pan in and out.
And there was an appreciation, I think, for non-pan lovers that would have just said, ooh, this pan song in night. People would say, well, I'm not a pan man, I don't really like pan. You would have gotten an appreciation for pan music playing all the top soca songs in a way that I don't think I would have ever seen before at a fete. So much so that a couple of weeks ago or so, I went to BP Renegades. Congratulations to the National Panorama Champions. They are celebrating 50 years of partnership with BP. And they had a lovely little concert a couple of nights ago at Queen's Hall, a couple of weeks ago. And I heard they announced that Renegades will be on the road with humor. So all of that now started churning in my head. Has pan lost its place? And I'm asking you now from over the years, looking and observing the carnival. Over the years, has pan lost its place? Pan was struggling to maintain a relevance. Has that happened? Are we now seeing a little turnaround in fortune in terms of the next generation embracing the national instrument?
I mean, a lot has happened over the last couple of years in terms of changes to pan. I'll count among them the 2014, 2015 Band of the Year titles that All Stars won. You know, that sort of put pan in a whole new place in a lot of people's minds and reminded them that panners do nice mass too, because there is that tradition of pan mass. And I'd say that to make the point that pan is a multifaceted universe. You know, pan is not just enjoying the sound of pan that you like. And I say that because I want to challenge this idea of saving pan by introducing it to young people. Because if we do that, we somehow lose the older people. And ironically enough, if we look at Panorama, And in the years that the bands have started playing the tunes they thought people wanted to hear.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, Renegades won with 5-Star Akil.
Yeah.
Different Me.
Different Me, yes.
Ever since then, we've seen more and more bands playing popular
The songs of the season.
The non-traditional pan tune.
Yeah.
But consequently, or not consequently, but at the same time, can we also say that we've seen a fall off in attendance at the Savannah? So whereas this shift was made to sort of please this younger audience by playing music they knew, or playing popular music, because the thinking was that the pan songs weren't being played on the radio, so when people came to Panorama, they weren't familiar with the songs. That's why they weren't as engaged as they were. So the band started adapting and started playing these newer songs. But I mean, in the last year or two, granted, the change to the North Stand last year didn't help things. But the numbers are falling off in terms of attendances.
Even with the newer songs being played on the pan.
Yes, which is not to say in my mind that pan is losing ground, because I happen to carry coverage of the small band semifinals and finals, and there were, if not hundreds, thousands of people there. You know, it was held at one point in Victoria Square, the semifinals. Not many people chose to pay the $100 to come inside.
What was the demographic?
Mixed.
Yeah. Old, young.
Old, young, male, female.
Yeah.
But people were having a very good time, you know, in the same way that people would bring out their chairs and their drinks.
Yeah.
People were set up in that way.
Yeah.
And
so you don't think it has lost its place over the years, or not have the relevance that it once had? I remember they said the generation before, I had an uncle, God rest his soul now, he would give us stories about jumping down the road to All Stars in the 70s. That there are no big truck and thing, you know, I want to call no band names, but they didn't have no big music trucks. Carnival Monday and Tuesday was about the pan on the road.
You're missing a Carl Beaver Henderson.
No, that type of history.
Yeah, because you would think then, though, that the brass bands, because once they started putting the brass bands on the trucks, they would then start competing with the bands. But I want to say that in New York, for Juve during Easter, Labor Day weekend, at least in the 90s when I was doing it, it was pan on the street. Because of the noise violations, you couldn't play DJ music on the street. So everybody used to Juve to pan. And that was in the late 90s. And that was a great time. You know what I mean?
You have what, 10 tribe trucks? 10 tribe music trucks?
You're on the right side of truck number 2.
Right.
But yes.
Let's say you take 5 of those trucks away and you say, no, I want 5 pan bands to accompany that truck on the road Carnival Monday.
That's exactly going to be my reaction, because the demographic of a band like Tribe, a band like Humor, is a lot younger. So I think you could quicker.
So they don't want to hear the pan on the road Carnival Monday.
I don't know that there will be a very great appreciation for it.
So that's why. So
me, I can speak for myself. Me being as young as I am, I wouldn't mind it. It's something different on the road, because there reaches a point in time on the road, I'm fed up hearing the same 5-6 songs in rotation.
But that's why Iron Park was such a revelation to me and such an eye-opener, because as I said, I don't know if it's because, as Rhian was explaining, how creatively it was done between the DJ and the pan. Sometimes you recognize, when they jump in here, recognize it as the pan band take over, you know? Right. Because the DJ played the music and all of a sudden, and you recognize you're still partying. That demographic, Rhian, was
a younger demographic. Young,
and they were partying, so they were partying to the pan. The place pumping and jumping like mashing on the stage.
Yes, I know what you mean when you say that. I know what you mean when you say that.
I was totally amazed.
I don't want to say, I don't want to make too much of it, because I wasn't there. I didn't feel what you felt. But I am minded to say that I think that still more needs to be done. Across various types of activities, not just partying, but we have to sort of find a way to reinforce this love for the national instrument. And for all our culture.
Do you think with the introduction of pan in schools, that can be a way to get well, I can't say the younger generation, but the up and coming generation, to have more of an appreciation for pan, for the national instrument?
I do. The only thing about that is that it's not in all schools. And if you don't want it in your school, you have the right not to have it in your school. But let's look at what is happening. I mean, you know that song, Summertime Magic? Isn't there a pan tone in that? Boom, boom. When you listen to it, you hear a sort of synchronized pan sound.
Yes.
So pan is growing, in my mind. From where I sit, it's doing okay. I think the fact that Renegades, Despers, and All-Stars can electrify an event like Iron Park is because they have the experience of Panorama and they know what it's like to play excellence. You know, they hone their excellence. Everybody likes to bad talk Pantrinbago. But if Pantrinbago hadn't done that competition for as many years as it has, it's the biggest talking point around Pan. It's the biggest involvement of Pan. You have medium, small, large, mini, pan rounding, single pan, large. I mean, you're talking thousands of people across the country.
Yeah.
You know, and Panorama, I still think will remain for me the benchmark of how well Pan is doing in a sense. And not just in attendance, but in terms of the music that I hear. Because at the end of the day, it is a musical competition. And I think that that's kind of what we want people to understand and respect as well, that Panorama is not just a day to go to the savannah. Something important is taking place. And I think until we can really get people to respect the importance of what's taking place, and not just because I have to take it seriously, because if I sit down in front of the microphone to do a Panorama broadcast and I really listen to something else in my ear, you know, and then I'm like, oh, they finished? You know what I mean? I have to listen. And I don't have to listen. And I listen because I like what I hear. You know? It's really, really an excellent fraternity.
I need to take a break, guys. Need to take a break. But I was just saying that I think what happened at Iron Park, in my mind, sometimes you have the different ways to kill the cat.
Or a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down.
Right,
Something like that.
So I think a couple of spoonfuls of sugar was mixed in Iron Park.
And helped the medicine go down.
Taking a break.
Medicine's good for you. Medicine's good for you.
Taking a break. We're coming back. One more topic before we wrap things up on this wonderful Sunday. Cup of Joe, fun food, and friends in the house.